Our hunger is not something we can out hack. It's your body telling you you need fuel. And if you've been waiting all day to actually feed it, that hunger is going to catch up to you and it is going to feel primal at that point.
Megan, you and I have talked on these podcasts quite a bit. And one of the things that I love most is you're interested in the long-term sustainable plan that puts you at the center and has you thinking about, can I do this for the rest of my life rather than can I do this for the next 30 days to get into that pair of slacks I need to get into?
Yeah.
And one of the things that you have done so well is breaking things down into, hey, we don't have to do everything all at once. So I wanted to go into that deeper today and really dive into your 6 nutritional habits for sustainable weight loss. And I'm hoping that you would like to do some of that with me today.
Yeah, I would love that because this is truly pursuing sustainable weight loss has to be the goal. And yes, we can junk it down, like you're saying, into smaller parts, but I think we all have to agree that that has to be the end goal, right? We need to agree, be on the same side of the table that if you're going to make a change, it needs to fit into your life as it stands. And it needs to be something that you feel empowered to do. I have a checklist, right, that I work with my clients through, and it's just 6 simple things to check in with yourself on to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. And I think it is the best first step if you're truly wanting to pursue something sustainable in the long term.
The first thing that I have on your checklist is eat a breakfast with protein and fiber every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to be honest. I have heard you don't need to eat breakfast. I've heard a lot of stuff about breakfast. Why are we suggesting eating a breakfast with protein and fiber every day?
Yeah, anyone telling you not to eat breakfast, don't listen to them. Okay, don't listen to them. That's my very candid take on that. So here's the main pattern I see people falling into as to why weight loss is not sustainable and this yo-yo effect keeps happening. Okay. And why you're likely stuck in a cycle of gaining, losing, right? It is because you're not starting your day with food, you're not eating in the middle of the day, and then and then at night, when you have probably the most time, or you have actually set aside the most time, that is your biggest meal of the day, and you are hangry, right? And when we're hangry, that hunger, that is a biological cue. Our hunger is not something we can out hack. Like our hunger is a cue. It's like having to go pee. You're not going to ignore that, right? Your hunger is the same way. Like it's your body telling you you need fuel. And if you've been waiting all day to actually feed it, that hunger is going to catch up to you and it is going to feel primal at that point. Oh my God, I'm out of control. Give me what's closest to me. You're probably snacking before dinner, right? Like grabbing the chips or whatever is in the cabinet, having some extra spoonfuls of whatever you're making, maybe making for your kids for dinner before you even have your own meal, right? And that meal is probably the biggest meal of the day. So it just sets you up for overeating without even being conscious of it. And so the workaround with that is that we have to eat breakfast. That is key. Number 1, you have to start your day and set yourself up for success by eating breakfast. That includes something with protein and fiber. Yes, protein is important, but you also have to have fiber if you really want to have that appetite regulation. Starting your day off with a healthy, hearty breakfast, you are going to feel so much better throughout the day.
Do you have an example? Because that's the other thing is like, what is a good breakfast option that does combine protein and fiber?
My favorite is I did a post about this on my Instagram, is like a breakfast sandwich, right? So you can get like a whole wheat bagel, or in the video that I did, the example I used was like these Thomas high protein bagels. I don't think those had that much fiber in them, honestly. So a whole wheat bagel might be your better bet. Do that with some eggs, egg white. You can add in some like frozen peppers and spinach if you want to. Also add some beans and cook them into my eggs. You can get like a can of beans, like any kind of bean you like. They're all great. Cook that into your eggs. It literally takes 3 minutes. Plop that on your bagel. add some avocado, maybe some hot sauce, and you're good to go. And you can take it with you. Also, yogurt and fruit is a good option. I would want the portion to be a good size because that is really in snack territory, if I'm being completely honest with you. So, making sure you're having like a healthy portion of that. So, it does keep you full through lunchtime.
The second thing on the checklist here, pick 1 to 2 nutrition anchors that are non negotiables. Examples: no skip meals, taking a lunch break, 2 liters of water.
This kind of ties into what I was just saying a little bit earlier about like you deciding that you're going to, whatever you decide to make your nutrition goal, right? I call them nutrition anchors. So you're just going to pick one nutrition habit that you want to work on, whether it is getting more water in, whether it's eating breakfast in the morning, whether it's making sure you're not skipping your meals, right? Picking one of those and having that be your focus for the week. That way you're not getting, bogged down by all of these details and things you're having to remember. Like just by choosing one thing and doing it well, you're setting yourself up for success to add something else maybe the next week, right? So that's what I was saying earlier. It's like we have to chunk these down and just do one thing at a time. And then you get more confident, right? Because you're like, wow, I really did that. Like I was able to do that. I feel good about this. You feel empowered to keep doing it and you feel more motivated to add something on as well.
What would you say to somebody who is working to get their anchor kind of solidified?
Mm.
Would we want to stay focused on that anchor, or would we still be trying to add additional things to that?
So anybody who has this checklist, this might be your first time attempting sustainable weight loss, and there's probably a lot of things you want to change, right? So a really good activity you could do is just write out all of the changes you're wanting to make, right? Whether it's water, eating more slowly, having breakfast, not skipping meals, right? Write them all out so you can see, just have it all out in front of you. And then from there, I want you to pick the easiest one. I would say if you're in a situation where it's like maybe you've tackled some of these other lower hanging fruit, yeah, keep leaning into the things that are hard because that's how you're challenging yourself at this stage in your journey. But if you were just starting out, pick the lowest hanging fruit because we want to build your confidence that you can do it.
Love that. Sometimes mentally we might think that we got to do the hardest stuff first, and
Yes.
then after that we also have to do the we got to keep adding to it because I got to do all this at once.
Yeah.
Even though the whole thing's about sustainable weight loss, mentally we sometimes enter in still with that I got to do it all mentality.
Yeah. This is not about punishing yourself and it's not about making it hard, right? This should feel easy, which is kind of a mind fuck if you think about it. Because it's like, well, I've been taught that this should be hard, that I need to work hard and that I need to go at this 110%, like all this kind of stuff. And it's, well, let's challenge that narrative there because what is that really doing? Is that actually making it easier for you to stick to it? Or is that creating maybe a mental barrier for you without you even knowing it? Instead of trying to tackling everything at once, put it in a list of priorities and rank them easiest to hardest to change based on your lifestyle, everything you have going on, and then just choose the easiest one and start there because you're still winning if you're able to do that.
I love it. Moving on to number 3. Honor early hunger cues even if your stomach isn't growling yet. All right.
This one is hard for people because we think about hunger. Typically, people experience hunger when it gets to like a primal point. And what I mean by that is primal hunger feels very urgent. It feels like we're losing our minds a little bit because we kind of are, right? Our body is sending all of the alarm bells to say, feed me. I need energy now. I'm in the danger zone, right? So, my point of honoring your early hunger cues means we are paying attention to the nuances of hunger. So, hunger isn't only when it feels urgent. Hunger can also be when you start to feel a little bit of brain fog, maybe 30, 45 minutes before you typically eat lunch. Hunger can be maybe you're feeling a little bit more irritable answering some emails around lunchtime, Maybe you start to get a headache, right? These are some nuances to hunger that we need to start to recognize and honor those when they start to come up, because when we start to experience those, it's like that's when we should start getting our meals ready, not when we're feeling that urgent feeling of hunger.
I think that was a big unlock for me, is because the only thing I would define as hunger was the ravenous, stomach growling,
Mm-hmm.
brain foggy, useless Matt that would appear when I was starving.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's a little bit more of, oh, my body is trying to tell me something. We need to be eating
Makes
something.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why can't I focus at all right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not ravenous. I'm not crazy. I'm not anything, but it's just like that little thing starts to poke up. Instead of it being like something I ignore, I
Mm-hmm.
start paying a lot more attention to it. All right. Number 4, give yourself a 2 to 3 minute fullness pause during meals.
You probably know your hunger cues, right? But you've probably never been taught about your fullness cues either, which is the other side of the equation, especially if you're wanting to lose weight sustainably. This is the key that unlocks not having to track any kind of food, is tuning into that fullness cue and not finishing the food just because it's on the plate, and giving yourself permission to leave food on the plate, put it back in Tupperware, and come back to it if you get hungry again. So when you're eating, giving yourself, checking in 2 to 3 minutes, right? How am I feeling? And a question I like to prompt here is, how would you feel? What would your fullness feel like in 20 minutes if you stopped now? And if you say, okay, I think I would feel pretty full, should probably stop eating now. So that's how you can take a 2 to 3 minute fullness pause and use it to help you manage your portions.
Is it that in those 2 to 3 minutes, we've given ourselves the opportunity for our bodies to communicate with us? That's really the huge unlock there for us. That's what's going to help us feel the fullness.
Yeah, you can't rush through a meal and feel an appropriate level of fullness. It takes time for that food to go from our mouth to our stomach, for our stomach to stretch, send signals to our brain to even let us know that we're starting to feel full. And so if we're rushing that process, we're going to unintentionally and unconsciously overeat. Rather, if we took our time and let that whole process be able to unfold as it naturally will, you will start to feel that fullness cue a lot stronger, for one, and a lot sooner, too.
How long does it take for our body to even tell us that we're full?
About 20 minutes.
Oh, so the 5 minute cram session that I'm doing, not the greatest. Okay.
Yeah, it takes about 20 minutes for that process to take place. And from what I have seen, most people take about 10 minutes on average to eat. So if you think about that, if we went from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, your plate might look different at the end of that, right? Because you're probably not going to feel like you could actually eat as much food as you did in just a 10-minute window.
Take your time. Take your
Take your
time.
time. Take your time.
Our 5th item on the checklist, do a
Mhm.
quick body check in once a day, energy, mood, hunger, so you stay connected. All right. Tell me about this one, because this one is, I don't know if I understand with this one yet.
Sure. If you really want to make weight loss sustainable, you have to figure out where you're being reactive and where you can be proactive. So, taking the time to check in with yourself is a way to become proactive rather than reactive, right? So, if you are someone who is very, very busy during the day, rushing around, you know, you don't really take time for lunch, maybe you are rushing when you're eating breakfast, right? These are very common patterns that I see. You're being reactive, not proactive. So, taking the time to do a quick check in with yourself, energy, mood, hunger, that will go the distance for you, because it's saying, again, we were talking about pattern interrupts. It's a pattern interrupt for you. And it helps you reflect of, okay, what is actually going on around me right now? Well, because I feel like we just get in such a pattern and almost like autopilot that we forget how to slow down, and we forget that we do have the choice to be intentional in more moments throughout the day than we don't. right? So by deciding to do a quick check in with yourself every single day, you can choose the time of day that you want to do that. It gives you more options and control over your day based on how you're feeling. So hopefully
It,
that makes sense.
how do I even start that process? Is kind of one of those things. Like, I don't know how to check in with myself. How do I check in with myself?
If you're completely new to this, the best way to go about it is just choosing a time and put it in your calendar, set an alarm, right? Again, it's going to take time for you to remember the pattern interrupt. And so I would rather you assume you're going to be an autopilot and forget, and then put something in your calendar as a reminder or like an alarm or something as that pattern interrupt, for to just be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this. Right? And then once you get that down, taking the time to just be like, okay, take a breath. Where am I at in my day right now? Right? What is happening? Am I at work? What's happening at work? How am I feeling about what's happening at work right now? How does my body feel? Do I feel tense? Do I feel stressed? Do I feel hungry? Do I feel like I have a craving? What is genuinely coming up for me right now? What is my mind on right now? And then again, like I said, checking in with your body. Are you tensing up a lot? Right? Or do you feel relaxed? Do you feel like your breaths are shallow or are they deep? Right? These are ways you can check in with yourself to get a temp check on like how you're doing at baseline, right? And it gives you the opportunity to reset because you don't have to go through your whole day tense, right? This is the pattern interrupt. And it gives you options on how do you want the rest of your day to go based on the information you just gathered from doing your check-in.
I take the minute, I check in with myself, and I find out I, I think I'm ignoring a hunger cue here. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to grab something, so I'm
Mhm.
not I'm not making it worse later on in the day and kind of compounding my hunger. Or I'm just like, oh, I'm real tense right now. Maybe I need to do a little stretch. Maybe we can stretch right now. Okay, I it's putting it together, right? Because I hear checking with yourself, and then it's like, what do I do with this? It's too practical, you know what I mean? It's just, what do I do with this information? I'm really tense, and I'm really okay. We can take a breath.
Yeah.
How about we start with the simple stuff? Let's just take a breath.
Yes.
Are we hungry? Is there something
Do I
that
need anything right now?
right?
What do I need right now? Whether that's taking a breath, whether that's eating some food, drinking some water, taking a break, going outside for some fresh air. Like, what do I need right now to reset?
Thank you for walking me through that because that is one of those things that I can kind of get lost in. I love it.
Yeah. And I will say that's a practice. Like, that one is a practice, but it makes a huge difference in feeling like you are in control of your day, right? Because what I hear a lot is, oh, I just don't have time, or I don't know how to make time for these things, right? And it's like, we're not taking the time during the day to see what do I need, right? So what I was saying earlier, it's like coming from a reactive place to a proactive place. And that starts by you taking 2 to 3 minutes out of your day to just pause and see what you need.
We're on number 6, our last one here.
Awesome.
Schedule one recharge pocket each day, 5 to 10 minutes that are just for you.
Yes. So this one is very important for all my people pleasers out there. Okay. And I know the day can get away from us and we can feel stressed, but something about stress is that stress compounds. Okay. And when we think about relieving stress, we often think about, oh my gosh, I need to go get a massage or go get my hair or nails done. It's usually these like bigger things, or I need to go on a vacation. Those are like bigger ways to handle stress. But if we take care of ourselves on a 5 to 10 minute level every single day, it's like it's another hygiene item, right? And it prevents our stress from getting so large that we feel like we need this huge reprieve from life. So if we're maintaining our stress relief on a daily basis by taking 5 to 10 minutes just for ourselves, whether that's listening to your favorite podcast, it could be putting on like a special lotion that smells really good when you get out of the shower. It could be like something for me is like I love getting like little shower steamers to put into my shower that smell like eucalyptus. So it smells like a spa in my bathroom. It's just little things like that that enhance what you're already doing during the day. It can make a huge difference in relieving some of that stress. And it feels like you're doing something special for yourself because you are, but it relieves stress in like micro ways. So that way it doesn't build up and you feel like you need this huge release over time. And that will also help you maintain all the other points we've talked about today. Because again, it's like you're not being reactive, you're being proactive. And that is key if you want something sustainable.
That absolutely needs to be worked into my day. I look at that and I go,
I prescribe self-care all the time. It is like one of my favorite things to talk about.
well, I just take a look at it and it's like knowing that stress compounds and that we can take a small action to eliminate some of that stress in the day so that we don't end the day and we're just so wound up and then we go to sleep and we're ready to do it again the next day and
Yeah.
like we're not paying attention to the toll that it's having on our minds and our bodies. That is, yeah, that's incredibly helpful.
Yeah, I always talk about this point as like enhancing something you're already doing. Like whether like when someone's cooking dinner, for example, I'm like, put on your favorite music. Make it romantic for yourself. Like whatever that looks like. It could be, listening to music and also having a cup of tea of a flavor that you really like, right? It's just slowing down for 5 to 10 minutes and being intentional with something that will fill your cup that is just for you. It goes a long way.
I had a question for you because I'm as a client and as someone who's going through your program, I was
Mhm.
wondering how your system, your overall system works with these tips or this checklist that you have here. So kind
Yeah.
of like, and I know that we haven't really explained your methodology here, but I would love if you could kind of talk about that for just a few minutes.
Yeah. So all of these points that we've talked about today fall under my 3R framework, which is reset, reconnect, refuel. So reset means we're resetting your habits, right? So when we talk about picking your nutrition anchors, that would fall under that, right? And resetting your lifestyle, basically. Reconnect is reconnecting to your body. So those hunger and fullness cues, doing your body check-in, scheduling a recharge pocket during the day. These are all ways that you can reconnect with your body and be more intentional moving forward. And then refuel, which is obviously the nutrition portion of things, right? Is eating breakfast with protein and fiber every single day, right? And obviously, when I work with my clients, there are much more things in depth that go into all three of these buckets, but that's kind of how I like to think through things in three different pillars for anybody who likes a little bit more organization on how to think about these things.
Oh, that's really helpful. Can you go over those 3 R's one more time for me?
Yep. Reset, reconnect, refuel. 3R framework. I hope you're enjoying this conversation. And if this is really resonating with you, I have 6 nutrition habits for sustainable weight loss in 2026. This is top 6 tips that I work my clients through. It is a great foundation and a place to start if you feel all over the place. It's something you can come back to consistently to know that, yes, I'm on the path, and can just give you a level of clarity when you feel like you need it. So if that's something you're interested in, click the link below and I'll get it to you.